Jacob Zuma, the Secretary General of the SACP, Mr. Blake Zimande, the ministers here, Chairperson of the NCOP, the Premier, Ubabu Makingwane, members of Parliament, the SG of COSATU and other members, MECs, chiefs and members of the National Defense Force, leaders of the Alliance, leaders of political parties, mayors and councillors, the Secretary General of the World Federation of Trade Unions, members of the media, fellow mourners. We are gathered here today to bid our final farewell to a giant of our struggle, the man of steel, Comrade Eric Stalin Mtshali. His obituary has been read, and it bears testimony to the fact that the history of our liberation struggle has been punctuated by his contributions for over the past 6 decades. Sadly, as we celebrate his life, we are reminded of what the Malian writer Amadou once said: in Africa, when an old man dies, a library bends to the ground, close quote. Indeed, Comrade Stalin was a reservoir of knowledge and wisdom. Our meetings, conferences, and campaigns will never be the same. We will miss that distinct touch only Comrade Stalin would bring to any conversation, engagement, or initiative. Indeed, a giant has fallen. To paraphrase the self-doing tributes to Mazuri, he said, another baobab rooted in the principles and values of our glorious movement has been felled and the ground has been shaken. We walk tall and proud to be African, despite his unexpected departure, for we know that we now stand on his and other heroes and heroines of our struggle. Through his life journey, we are able to see the road we have traversed and are able to let future generations to also learn and stand tall and proud to be African. Comrade Stalin was born during the year in which 280,000 white South Africans decided the fate and future of over 30 million blacks, and mainly Africans. As a result of the 1933 general elections, incidentally, 1933 was the first year in which white women fully participated in the election after having received their franchise 3 years earlier. Comrade Stalin came into an unjust and unequal world. This is the world which required an early activism of him. It shaped and tempered him into a disciplined and humble man of steel. Fellow mourners, Comrade Stalin, societal mobilization and total emancipation of our people was the raison d'etre for our liberation struggle. This, as we have heard, motivated Comrade Stalin to be politically conscious and active early in his life by initially taking up various roles in the Claremont Ratepayers Association. From an early age, Comrade Stalin understood that the liberation of our people lies only in their hands and would require strong organization to propel them into power and command of their destinies. Thus, the Claremont Ratepayers Association became an important mobilization frontier for the African National Congress, as it became a solid recruitment base for our movement's volunteers. He was also an active international trade unionist who cut his teeth at organizing for the Dock and Harbour Workers Union in Durban. He understood the imperative of international solidarity to unite the workers of the world in order to advance workers' struggle beyond national, cultural, and racial boundaries. From this vantage point, Comrade Stalin shaped his thinking and desire to pursue a society wherein he dreamt and fought for a world wherein all the means of production, including land, belong to and are commanded by the people. It was during this time that his lifelong service to the Communist Party was born. Comrade Stalin was a well-rounded activist who was one of the few who was involved in all facets and pillars of our alliance and national democratic revolution. He had been a member of the Central Committee of the party since the early 70s, serving the party selflessly for some 6 decades. There was no task too small, and there was no task too huge for Comrade Stalin. We have heard how he became one of the first volunteers of Nkosazana and his willingness to possibly pay the ultimate price for his belief and convictions. We have heard of his involvement in many battles of our glorious People's Army, including his bestowed the great and historic honor by Comrade President O.R. to assist the Mtshali detachment, which was the first ever detachment of MK. That detachment had undergone rigorous training and had the task of regenerating the damaged underground structures which had been destroyed in the aftermath of the death of Comrade President General Nkosazana. Comrade Stalin belongs to all of us in South Africa and in the world. On account of having served the South African Congress of Trade Unions, SABC, and also the World Federation of Trade Unions, as well as Chief Representative of the ANC. He stood as to all true Marxists. He understood as all true Marxists that the disorganization of the working class is one of the fundamental causes to their exploitation. Thus, the call for the international workers of the world to unite. He also understood that in such interests of the working class of the world were similar. Those on our continent had special dimensions on account of the type of dispossession and colonization of our people have suffered. Thus, his focus moved on mobilization and strengthening trade unions in Ethiopia, Sudan, Zambia, Tanzania, Morocco, amongst many others. Fellow members, Comrade Stalin, also an internationalist, and he internalized what Vladimir Lenin meant when he said, I quote, "Without a revolutionary theory, there cannot be a revolutionary movement," close quote. Thus, his pursuit for knowledge and his willingness to impart it to younger generations, his willingness to learn and teach, made him the lifetime member of UFASIN, the Young Communist League. Many a communicator and media activist tells of how Comrade Stalin took his time to hone in their skills. He mastered the ability to balance both the military training as an accomplished cadre of MK and the ethos of the pen is mightier than the sword. In living this ethos, Comrade Stalin became the editor of the MKs, the Dawn, and the SABC journal known as the Workers' Unity, amongst many other publications. Comrade Stalin was an avid reader and had great passion for our history as well as ideology. We must honor that passion. We must find ways to document our history and develop our own authentic African ideologies and solutions in his honor. Ever the pragmatism, even if he served in public office and in the benches of local and national legislatures, he was ever ready to teach and remind us of the historic and current mission of the National Democratic Revolution. The task of shaping our national democratic society greatly benefited from his vigor, enthusiasm, and wisdom. He was consistent in reminding us that the task of mobilizing progressive motive forces towards a just and equal society is an objective. Fellow mourners, Comrade Stalin was a true revolutionary who was driven by a deep sense of love for his family, his people, and his country. Indeed, for humanity. In the words of one of my favorite revolutionaries, Che Guevara, who once said, I quote, "The true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality," close quote. It is this revolutionary love for our people which should guide us, and not the advent of greed and money which seeks to serve and destroy or kill our people. If we lived by the ethos by which Comrade Stalin lived by, we would surely leave behind a far better world than the one Comrade Stalin and his comrades bequeathed us. Comrade Stalin was also an important feature and choir master as we put together the symphony and basket of services to improve the quality of life of our people. Humor and an effective tool in the hands of Comrade Stalin and his daily guiding hand was an important feature as we took the implementation of our resolutions to improve the social wage through housing, school feeding schemes, access to free health care, free basic electricity, social grants, and expanding infrastructure to the rural areas and townships. Ever on the side of principle and firm in his belief, it was always near impossible to sway him in the wrong way. And where one found oneself in the unfortunate position of being opposite to his position, he was ever ready to educate you on his position and belief. Comrade Stalin's presence was consistent, and we firmed up our resolve to further grow our economy, to create jobs, as well as when we placed more focused attention to small business development, black economic empowerment, and a growing middle class. Ever ready with sharp class analysis, we often did not always fully appreciate his deep analysis. At least in living, he did witness some of our appreciation of his contributions, as we did as the Communist Party offered him the SACP Moses Kotane Award and labeling him to be a lifelong member of the Central Committee of the SACP. Even as we bestowed the Order of Mendi for bravery in silver to him, he remained embarrassed and humble, making it a point that we understand that this was done as a collective. He didn't do it alone, but also in service and for the love of the people. Fellow mourners, the baobab has indeed fallen to and the ground is shaking. Comrade Stalin was a humble reservoir of knowledge of the struggle of our people and practical solutions of the challenges they confront. Living by the mantra of unity, he was deeply disturbed by the advent of factionalism in our glorious movement. Being the embodiment of our alliance, having served in the civic and labor movements as well as SACP and ANC, Comrade Stalin was also disturbed by the disunity he recently witnessed in the alliance. It is now upon us to pick up the spear and continue with the revitalization of our movement so that we may be united in action towards securing a better quality of life for our people. We owe it to his memory, we owe it to his dedication, we owe him a united and stronger organization in our country. Lala Ngokolo, Commissioner in Command, go on and take your deserved place amongst our guiding stars. Tell Mama Charlotte Matlege, Mama Dorothy Nyembe, Mama Towa, Masisulu, Mawili Mandela, that the lead stands strong and fully donned in the black green at the forefront of our struggles for gender equality and in the fight against gender-based violence. Tell them that they remain determined to bring victory to the masses of our people as they secure a better life. Let Comrade Anthony Lembede, Tata Madiba, Albert Mtshali know that the youth of our country are determined to pursue knowledge, and that as they regather, they remain strong in the pursuit for economic liberation and empowerment of our people, and to get land for our people. Report to Comrade Darcy September, Mama Shinini, Ray Alexander, Moses Kodane, Moses Mabida, Chris Rani, Joe Slovo, and Joko Momo, that the Alliance is rediscovering its harmony, and through the People's Manifesto for 2019, it is developing an implementable and workable program of action. The plan promises to strengthen accountability and delivery to our people so that we might assert the people's government as envisaged in the Freedom Charter. Arising to take your seat amongst the galaxy of our heroes and heroines of struggle, raise your red as well as the black, green and gold flags. Sing your favorite anthem, the Internationale, and let the summit know that the alliance is stronger and the workers of our continent and the world are working harder to unite and to defeat imperialism as an injustice in the world. Sister Nini and the Mtshali family, we say, Awehlanga Ningehlanga. Lalani ngenxeba, sikhala nani, but siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi ubaba uMtshali limphathe kahle namsupporta kwaze baba sekugcineni. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nisiphathele kahle iqhawe lethu kwaze baba sekugcineni. Malindi no Amanda nabazukulu olele lapha isosha, olele lapha iqhawe, olele lapha ubaba wenu ukhulu wenu esiziqhenyayo kakhulu sonke ngathi nomhlaba wonke oziqhenyayo njengoba nizimile nalokhu neGreece
zojombela ngale lento zoqashisa ngaphansi kwekhapethi
lokho ukuthi umhlaba wonke usebenzele umhlaba wonke uyamhlonipha. Siyathemba ukuthi lokho kuzoduduza, kuzoduduza nazi ukuthi benzalwa iqhawe, nani niqhubeke nifise ukuthi nibe amaqhawe nimlandele. uComrade Stalin lala ngoxolo mkhondo, lala ngoxolo ngoxolo khomanda, lala ngoxolo uyifezile indima yakho. May your revolutionary spirit continue to guide us as we go towards the 2014 election and as we endeavor to serve our people better and create a better life for all. Long live the spirit of Comrade Stalin, long live. Long live the undying spirit of Comrade Stalin, long live.